Hey everybody, we're back. We took last week off because why did
Like
we take
everyone,
last week off?
wow, like every white collar man in the world, we we always have a break in between. So it's just a break.
Did you say like every white colored man in the world?
Yeah, everyone working man. We
Oh, I
we
see. I gotcha. Yeah, we just needed a break. We can't do this
yeah,
every week.
that's
So
right.
we took a week off, but now we're back. And we're gonna do a couple episodes of all the winter shows that we've been discussing thus far, plus a whopping 6 episodes of Ergo Proxy, bringing us 5 episodes away from the conclusion. What should we start with, Mario?
All right. So just to make more clear, we're gonna cover the episode 7 and 8 of Violet Evergarden, 7 and 8 of After the Rain, episode 7 of Kokuku, 6 and 7 of Darling in the Franxx, and the 5 episodes of Echo Proxies.
I think 6 episodes, right? 13 through
Yeah, the
18.
6. Yep, right,
Yeah.
right.
And I just want to let everybody know that the reason we're only doing one episode of Kokoku was because of my negligence. I didn't watch it on time. But you know that maybe that's for the better because that show has been getting less and less interesting as it goes on.
Mm-hmm. I definitely agree with you on that. All right, let's
I used to be so supportive of it. Now not as much.
now let's start with I think Darling in the Franxx.
Okay, great. So just to recap very briefly, episode 6 was the big fight and episode
Yep,
7 was the beach episode.
a beach episodes.
Yes. So
Why do they have a episodes in every single anime that we have to watch?
Um, that's a great question. I think it's because going to the beach is like I don't know. You
I
know
mean,
how recently I talked about the Japanese are obsessed with youth and the idea that like being young is like the best time in your life and you have to make the most of it. You just have to be like you have to make youthful indiscretions and pursue relationships and stuff. They're obsessed with youth.
yeah,
I think the beach relates to that. Like it's it's the place that you go and you know everybody's wearing a little bit less and there's probably a lot of flirting going on and hormones and
well, I just think they could do a lot of more stuff instead of going to the beach. They could go like camping. They could go to the mountain. They could go skiing.
well
It's
they
like a whole lot of other stuff, other activity that they can do.
that's true, but I think it might be like I think going to the beach is a big thing in Japan. You know how whenever a character sees the ocean in an anime, they go "umi, umida," like
That's right.
it's the ocean. I don't know. I think especially for characters like from anime that are set in Tokyo or some heavily populated area, getting away from that and you know flying or driving to the ocean. Since
Yep.
Japan is an island country, there's like going to the ocean is probably a universal experience because there's always a coast, no matter what island you live on in Japan. There's always a coast that you can visit.
And do you think a beach episodes is like it's necessary in Darling in the Franxx? Do you think it fit to the context of to the world of Darling?
Um, well, Darling in the
Be-
Franks to me seems like the kind of show where the world is whatever they want it to be. Like they moved the plantation for the kissing, like in the previous episode, or maybe two
Yep.
episodes ago. They moved it to a new location, and there was a bird's eye view shot in this episode where they showed the new location of the plantation, and they just panned over a little bit, and there's like a forest and an ocean.
Mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm,
no, it
mm-hmm.
doesn't seem
Yep.
very natural to me. It seems like they were like,
Nope.
let's just get a beach in here.
Yes,
So
that
I mean, no,
that that occurred to me as well.
I think even in the first episode they even say like there are there are no bodies of water.
Oh, right.
I don't know if that was like the entire world. There's no more bodies of water, or just in that area. But they make a point of mentioning that there are like no oceans where they are. So
Mhm.
so whatever.
Right. All right. So start from episode 6. We have
Sure.
like a very big fight, and
Yes.
I actually enjoyed the fight.
Okay.
like in the visual sense. I think um, it come a bit, like all the narrative beats we all see before, like hero getting lost. Hero wanted to die. Hero gave up before he came back to life again. So that for me that just all, like we all know that will happen. So
Okay.
so it's not going. It's not something that's very rewarding to me.
Not very rewarding.
Yeah,
Okay,
like the
I
whole
totally
hero
agree.
stuff.
Go
But
on.
but the yeah, but the fight in the like in the visual scene of it was very nice. It was entertaining.
Okay. Um,
How you take from that episode 6?
I think that my hatred for all these characters and for this show prohibits me from enjoying its visuals. Because
Right.
a lot of people do have nice things to say about its fight scenes, about its character designs, about its mechs, which I think are like the mechas. I think they're totally silly. But I don't like the choreography or the animation of the fights, and I think it's just because
No.
I don't like this show.
Oh,
Uh, here's
speaking of which,
Go ahead.
yeah, speaking of which, the newest Claxo Shaw of that episode 6 have the humanoid shape. So I think it could tell you something about, like the Claxo Shaw. Do you have any idea about that?
You're talking about the fact that it had legs, it walked on legs.
Yeah, that's right.
Um,
It's appear like human like.
yeah, I think a lot of people are speculating that the Klaxosaurs are, um, they were created by another group of humans to fight against the current group, or that they're somehow like mutated humans, or
Yeah,
they're.
that's
I mean,
what
it's one of the
that's
two.
yeah, that's what I think as well. I'm leaning on on the latter.
Oh, you think they're mutated humans?
Yeah, I think so at this point, at this stage.
Okay. Why do you think that? Like, why doesn't it make more sense for them to have been made in human, like in human form? Because they do
Well,
seem robotic.
yeah, they do seem robotic, and I think it just came from a human ambitions. They try to create something like super godlike, and then they just screw up.
I see. Okay. I was under the impression that the people, the the humans who were like too arrogant and too ambitious are
Mm,
the like the main characters, or not the kids, but Papa and the
mm,
other adults. It seems to me that they're the ones who are too ambitious because they're harvesting the magma energy, which is causing the Klaxosaurs to become upset and to attack them.
mm-hmm.
So I think we're supposed to view the Klaxosaurs not as like we're supposed to view the adults like
Mm.
Dr. Franks and whoever else is in charge of like the plantations. We're supposed to view them as the antagonists, and the Klaxosaurs are not. They're just like uh, casualties, I guess, like residual damage or collateral damage.
Yeah, because I think there's a sense of conspiracies going through like all the episodes. Like remember on episode 7 when like one of the kid, the annoying one, just keep bapping about like how great their papa supposed to be,
Oh my
and
gosh, I
how
hated that so much.
yeah, and how the kid's life was just supposed to be to protect the papa and
Yeah,
that world.
and how adults are really great, and he can't wait to turn into an
Yeah,
adult.
to turn into the adult.
Yeah, that kid's name
Right.
is Zorome, and he is definitely annoying.
Yeah.
Um, but that scene was terrible to me. Like honestly, the fact that Darling in the Franks did a beach episode in episode 7,
Hmm.
and it was filled with fan service, and it was like you kind of question the necessity of the episode being set there. Like you said, they could achieve the same thing in a different locale. I mean,
And I
I wasn't even mad that it was a beach episode. I was mad about that particular scene where the kid, not just Zorome but also Mitsuru, they're like so adamant about the adults being great and about them having a flawless design for the world, and then Hiro's like, well, I wonder if maybe if we weren't harvesting this magma energy, Klaxosaurus would leave us alone. They just completely shoot him down. Like it's so silly. It's so heavy-handed, the dialogue.
Well, I never actually enjoyed the dialogue in Darling in the Franxx, to be honest.
Yeah, me neither. You were gonna say something before I went on my rant. What was it? I was talking about beach episodes. I think you had something to say about that.
I just don't like the pacing of Darling in the Franxx right now. Like a beach episode in the episode 7, it was completely off for me, because like they have like a filler just like in the episode 7.
Well, I don't know if you can say that it's filler, because this is an anime original, so it's not as though they're inserting something that doesn't have a basis in the source material.
Well, I just think the first half of that episode 7 was unnecessary. It's just too much fan service, too much stuff about kissings, about like all the kids don't know how to kiss, I don't know what the kiss is about, what that's supposed to mean.
Yeah, I mean, the show is obviously, and it's done this before, so what happened in episode 7 was in the same vein. The idea is that the kids are completely ignorant of all things romantic and sexual. They just don't understand it. So this episode was just, piling on to that idea. And I can understand how this beach episode, fit in with everything else in terms of demonstrating the kids, ignorance.
But when we come to the latter half of the episode 7, it was when the kid go to the one of the town, one of the abandoned town.
You're right. Yeah.
That is look exactly like the world that we're living now.
Right.
In
Except
Japan.
it was just totally overgrown with plant life everywhere. It had just been abandoned.
Yeah, right. I actually really enjoyed that segment.
Okay. I really didn't, because I don't really like the show. Although I was gonna say something nice about it just now. I completely forgot what it was. Yeah, it is. It's definitely, even though I don't really like the way that scene was handled, it is it's intriguing. Because we're getting some context now. We're seeing that people did used to live on the surface, and that's probably going to be something they're going to go back to, explore a little bit more.
And one of the girl who pick up one of the book about mother and stuff. I think it
like preparing for your baby.
Yeah, right. So I think that bit of detail will be relevant in the future when she starts scrolling in the book and see like how different that world compared to their world right now.
Yeah, but that goes back to the same idea that the kids don't understand. They probably don't even understand how people are born, or maybe I mean, I think the idea, and this is kind of coincidental because we're watching Ergo Proxy right now, where there are artificial births. I think that all the parasites were probably created artificially. I mean, we know that Hiro is the main character. We know that Hiro is some sort of experiment, because those white robot guys who sit around in that council room, they literally say that Hiro is an experiment. They call him a failure of a special specimen.
Yep.
In episode 7.
And towards the end of episode 7, we have Hiro and Ichigo. Ichigo basically like confessed her love to Hiro, which was,
oh my god,
with the guy happened to not notice things.
The interrupted confession scene.
Yeah.
This was like my 100th one, probably.
Yeah, it happened all the times. Well, but I gonna give it credit for once. I actually enjoy the moment where Ichigo just follow the footstep of Hero. So she just step on the footstep of Hero in the sand. I think
I
it was very beautiful.
I actually thought that was tragic.
Really
Or
or tragic.
I mean,
Wow.
I didn't feel really sad or moved, but I think it was supposed to be tragic. That she is following so closely in his footsteps, and yet she can't communicate with him. She can't, like have him as a
Mm.
romantic partner, or as she can't have as close a relationship with him as she wants. But yet
Yeah.
she's still following his footsteps literally by
Mhm.
placing her feet where his were. Like
Yeah.
she's that close to him, and yet she's so far away. I think it's supposed to be sad.
Wow. Well, that was one single moment that I really enjoy out of the two episodes that we watch.
Okay. Yeah,
So
I do.
what?
I think Ichigo might be my favorite character.
Yeah, me too. And
Uh,
I
go
just realized then that Ichigo designs character design look is exactly like a character from Flip Flappers.
Kokona, right?
Kokona. Yes, that's right.
Yeah. Her
Even
design
to the
is actually
hecklers.
right. Yeah, and almost and yeah, yeah. The guy who's doing the character designs for this show also did them for Anohana
Oh,
and that other show that was really similar to Anohana. It's called something like Waiting in the Summer. It's the one where the main character is like a photographer and the main girl is an alien.
oh, right. Nah,
Um,
I don't remember that one.
okay. the, his character designs all look very similar to one another, and the childhood friend character who
Mm-hmm.
is who quote unquote loses in the love triangle.
Yep.
They always have blue hair.
Oh, interesting.
It's so silly. Actually, in Anohana, I guess um, the girl who couldn't confess her love, maybe her hair was purple, but it's
Yeah.
always the dark-haired character who loses out in the end, and it's the character with like the pink or the orange
Yeah.
hair who earns the affections of the main guy.
Actually, I think we can do the color code for all the characters because I think girl with red hair was supposed to be a girl with freedom, and girl with yellow hair, blonde, was supposed to be a rich girl.
Okay. I guess
It,
that kind of syncs up with Darling in the Franxx because the pink-haired girl is she at least even though she's still like part of the military I suppose
hmm
she's still using the Franks to fight the Klaxosaurs. She does seem to be more liberated than everybody else. And
hmm
the girl with the blonde hair, her name is Kokoro, I think, which means heart.
hmm Yeah.
She
hmm
does seem to be. I don't know. She's not rich, obviously, but she does seem to be like the Ojo-sama type
The
character. She's
the
very
bitch.
like proper.
Yeah, the bitchy girl.
Wait, no. The bitchy girl is the one with the like the reddish brown hair, right?
All
Who's
right.
partnered with Sorame. The
All
blonde
right.
girl that I'm thinking of is the one with the longer hair.
Yeah. I remember that one that you talked about.
Yeah, the bitchy girl, I guess you could call her. She's got like reddish brownish hair.
Mm.
Yeah, you could. I'm sure that the hair color is that they're all suited to the characters based on their personalities and stuff. But for the most part, I just don't like any of the characters.
Mm.
They're also
I
empty-headed.
That's right.
Might be by
Well,
design though.
yeah, I think that may be by design.
Because they're supposed to not know anything, right? They're called
hmm
parasites. They're all kept in like that house that's called a bird cage. They're just being manipulated by the adults who need them to protect them from the Klaxosaurs. Hopefully, the show, like opens up at a certain point and lets the kids in on what's really going on, and from that point on, it might get a little
Oh,
better.
I just hope the show have more fight. I just enjoy.
More
I
action.
just it Yeah, more action. I just enjoy the action of the show, not anything else.
Yeah, I'm not very action oriented, honestly. I do enjoy, like, you know, a bunch of my favorite shows have action in them, but it
Yeah,
that
I
can
think.
that can never carry
I,
it for me.
well, I think you are more action oriented than myself. I
Think
just
so?
yeah, I just had all the action shows. I don't really care about all the action movie as well.
But you seem to want more action in this show. Is that just because everything
Yeah,
else about it sucks?
yeah, that's
Or
right. that
okay.
is that is exactly it. Yeah.
Well, having said that, I guess we could probably move on.
All right, let's move on to the next shows.
Which would
Which
be
one do you
what?
like to talk about,
Uh,
Rico?
I don't know.
Um,
Kokoku maybe. We'll just do episode 7, get that out of the way really fast.
all right, let's go with Kokuku.
Okay. So I didn't watch episode 8, but we can talk about episode 7, which was a couple weeks ago at this point.
All right, so in episode 7 we have uh Machima Brothers came back to life
Right?
before being sucked out again,
Right.
and we have the main antagonist. What's his name? Sagawa.
Yeah, Sagawa, yeah.
He kind of having a superpower ability now.
Yeah, that's the cliffhanger. That he starts to get all like veiny and stuff.
Yeah,
And when that's happening, he says, what is it that he says, "Let me show you what it's like to be under the control of a specter."
yeah, right.
So that gives me the impression that he's I mean everybody who's in stasis and is able to move around has a specter inside them. That's what gives
Mhm.
them the power to act while time is frozen. But it seems to me as though maybe like he always has a specter inside of him, even in the real world, or when time is proceeding normally.
Mm-hmm.
Like he has some kind of altered abilities, or his body is changed somehow by the presence of a specter, like long
Yeah.
term.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my
What do you
guess.
think though? What do you think though about the direction of the show right now?
The
Do
direction of the
you
show.
yeah? Do you like? I mean, do you like where it's heading now?
With this show, I would say that my approach to it, week to week, is just whatever happens, I just roll with it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, when it first started, I was very excited about where it could potentially go. And when I think about how it's proceeded, it really has proceeded quite logically. Every character seems to have a goal, and
Mm-hmm.
we don't totally know what it is because we're ignorant of a few crucial details. But they
Mm-hmm.
do seem to be, you know, going where they need to go. Like if they need to go back to their house, or if there's a family member they want to rescue, they just go and do
Yep.
that. But
Yeah. Yep.
as time has gone on, it started to feel very methodical. Like there's a new goal, or like an achievement they want to unlock, to put it in video game terms, every week, and then they just go and do that. So it's gotten less and less exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I guess I'm not that thrilled with the direction that it's taken, but I don't
Mm-hmm.
hate it.
All right.
And
Because I'm not.
those are my thoughts.
All right. Because I'm not totally by the Sagawa become the Hulk right now.
Well, you've seen
He,
episode 8, right?
yeah. I seen episode 8 as
So
well.
you already know what happens.
Yeah, that's right. And just to be frank, that I don't like the direction it's taking right now.
Okay.
It's more action oriented again, and it just become like kind of simple minded for me right now.
Yeah, I can see that. It's
Now it's a fight between the whole group against Shagawa, and one of the guy that just appearing for last episode. I think because I'm not noticing about him at all before.
Are you talking about the gangster guy with the blonde hair?
No. That there is another guy who um I I don't even get his name, but he was he was
Oh, yes. Go ahead. I know who you're talking
yeah,
about
yeah.
now.
All right, that I think that's the guy, but I haven't noticed him at all, and then he appears in this episode 7.
It's the guy who's
La-
the expert about like recording equipment. He's the one who puts the camera into the Yukawa's house
All right.
so that the GLS
Was
can
he?
see the moment that they activate the Master Stone, so that
Mm-hmm.
the GLS can activate their stone at the exact same time.
Mm-hmm.
And Sagawa very quickly entrusts the GLS to this new guy who just knows a bit about like recording technology,
Mm-hmm.
because he says that he's going to go into like deep stasis for a while and observe humanity, and he needs to leave his cult in somebody else's hands. Yeah, that was
Yep.
very strange to introduce that
That
character
was.
so quickly and then give him potentially so much responsibility. That was weird.
Yeah,
You know what else was
that's right.
weird? The blonde thug guy finding the Master Stone in that tree so fast.
Yeah, I didn't pick it up at all. Like I didn't know what he about to do, and then voila, he got the master stone.
Yeah, he found it so quickly just by observing that the water had been disturbed in the I don't know what you call it, but the water
The
in that,
well, yeah.
was it a well? Okay,
No, it's not well, but
Yeah.
well, yeah.
it's
Mhm.
something. He sees that the water's been disturbed and he's like, oh, they must have hidden the stone around there. He reaches up into the tree and plucks it out. Like that just doesn't make any sense.
No.
Oh, one thing that was revealed in episode 7 is that the specters, when they're released from people's bodies, they actually are attracted to the blood of the Yukawa family.
Yeah. Right.
Somebody says that. So that was a theory of mine that I felt good about
Yep.
when it came true. Although it should be noted, and I think maybe you pointed this out, that none of the specter hasn't gone into the kid's
Michael-
mother.
Yeah, Makoto's mother.
Yeah. So I wonder if that's a plot hole or if there's, some reason for
Yeah.
that.
Mm. All right. Anything else you want to say about this episode? Because
Are you gonna
I
say
don't.
because you don't have anything else to say? Yeah.
that's right.
I guess one thing very briefly is that even though I am kind of interested in the Sagawa cliffhanger with him, going full
Yep.
berserk.
Yep.
I will say that most of the cliffhangers before this one, like let's say over the past 3 episodes, maybe 4, 5, and 6, something like
Yeah.
that, I haven't really enjoyed any of those cliffhangers or the way they've been resolved.
That's right.
Like Majima's brother waking up and then very quickly his specter leaving his body. Why couldn't that have just been at the end of the previous episode? With
Yeah,
her-
that's why.
with- Go ahead.
Sorry, keep going on. Yeah, keep going on. Sorry.
Right. I mean, why couldn't that episode have just ended with her like crying over the departure of her brother's soul? Because that's how she reacts. Why couldn't it have been like an emotional resolution to episode 6, and we wouldn't have to had this very brief scene at the start of episode 7, and then cut to like the rocking theme song? That's just jarring.
Well, I agree with you on that. I think on the cliffhangers that we saw so far were pretty cheap.
I liked the earliest ones, like the ones in the very early episodes.
I remember there was one that that there was a guy who about to attack Churi.
Jury. Yeah, that was like
Uh,
episode 3 maybe or 4, one of those.
Yeah, and then it turned out that the very next scene that he was she was protected by her grandpa,
Right.
and it's nothing happened at all. So
Yeah,
it's just a cheap cliffhanger for me.
I was just gonna say it's really cheap. Yeah, I agree completely. Yeah, show's definitely on a downward trajectory for me, and that's a shame. Because I liked it at first, although I'm kind of doubting myself about that now.
I don't like it at all, and just for you to be know, and for all the listeners who listen right now, I don't like the episode 8 either.
Okay. Well, don't talk
I
now.
hate-
That
I-
colors my impression of episode 8 when I watch it.
All right, so I hated that episode 8, to be honest.
Huh. Okay. Well,
So-
that's not a good sign. If I watch episode 8 and I think it sucks, we can just like stop talking about it.
Well, we still have to plug for all the people who want to listen to our thought on that.
I don't think anyone's listening to this right now.
Just us, hey.
Well, maybe like 10 people. I can't remember how many views we've gotten over the
Oh,
how many episodes have been uploaded. I think the first episode
yes.
got like 14, so nobody's listening. It's
Yeah, well, for the last two that we put it up, it's like no view at all.
damn. All right.
That's alright.
Thanks, but no thanks, everybody.
Alright, let's move on to the next one. If we
Yeah.
don't have anything else to talk about Kokuku.
Yeah, I definitely don't. So
Alright,
bef-
let's go.
Go ahead.
Yep, sorry.
You can pick this time.
Alright, I just go just go with Violet Evergarden.
All right. Which did you like better? Episode 7 with the playwright who lost his daughter, or episode 8 with the flashback to Violet's war days? Which was better?
Alright, it's episode 7 all the way. I think the episode 7 was one of the best Violet Evergarden episode to date. And episode 8 was like one of the worst.
Wow. Okay.
It,
That's a pretty hot take right there.
Alright, the reason being, well, we learned nothing new about like Violet's situation or Violet's love with Chibert through the episode 8, because
Yeah, that-
we all know all of this before.
Yep.
I have a feeling that I saw all of these bits or all of these like sequences before, so like and get back to Violet when she was like a robotic a tool wasn't a good idea for me.
Okay.
So just to say that I'm not enjoying that episode 8 at all. How about you?
Well, let's see. Let me run through the episode really quick,
Yep.
and we'll see how much of the information we knew beforehand. Because I do agree with you.
Yep.
We knew that Violet was originally given to Gilbert by his brother. We saw
Yeah.
that, but we already knew it.
As a
Uh,
tool as well.
Yeah, as a tool. Yeah. We knew already that Gilbert was in love with her.
Yes.
So that's something we already knew. He literally confessed his love to her in a scene that we've already seen. We already knew about the brooch. In fact, I think
Yep.
that's in episode 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that how the entire show opens, with that scene?
Yeah, I think so. Yep.
Yeah. So we already knew about that. They just ripped that scene directly from episode 1 and put it in here again.
Mm-hmm.
We already knew about the way Gilbert. We already knew like that Gilbert would lose his life at the church. So that's what's going on now.
That's right.
We already knew that Violet was like a super soldier, so we saw that happening here.
Y-
But we've already seen some clips of her, like, shooting guys and running across the battlefield.
Yep.
We already knew that Hodgins, who currently runs the auto memory
Mhm.
doll business, we already knew that he was friends with Gilbert. We saw them talk a little bit, but we
Yeah.
already knew that.
That's
So
right.
we didn't really learn anything.
We just
new.
have like a standard version of what we already know from episode 1. In fact, I think this one would be fitted to be the first episodes. Just
Yeah, well, maybe.
well, yeah, well,
This would, if you used this as the first episode, and then all of a sudden you're yanked out of it and Violet is like writing letters, that would be a little strange.
I think it would be more fitted to be an episode 0, the one before
Yeah,
the
or like-
episode 1.
Yeah, or like an OVA.
Yeah, yep,
Although, this show is 14 episodes. That's the scheduled,
Mhm.
that's the order that they got from Netflix, I suppose. So maybe it's odd length is because they were planning for 13, and this
Yeah.
one, which is kind of in the middle, is kind of an extra, like a bonus or something.
yeah. I think that I know the intent to put that episode here, like in the middle uh, of the length, because it is marked like Violet her growth, what she have been changed so far. So I do think I understand the intent, but I don't enjoy the extended episodes, the extended flashback from Evergarden from Violet.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not really against this episode that much, episode 8,
Mm-hmm.
but I definitely didn't feel as though it was anything special or it's definitely not anything new.
Mm-hmm.
And I was definitely unimpressed with a lot of the scenes that looked very gray and washed out. Although that's a complaint of mine about the show in general. Whenever there's a dark scene.
That's right.
So episode 7 avoids that problem entirely by being set in a beautiful little countryside area with a cottage where there's trees of like all different colors and a beautiful lake and stuff.
Yep.
Completely different, not only in terms of story and structure and original, content, but also
Mm-hmm.
in the way it looks.
Yep.
So we can talk about episode 7. You love
Alright.
that one. You think it's one of the
Yeah.
best to date. Why is that?
Yeah. Well, so just for your information, that episode 7 was supposed to be the first chapter of the first light novel.
I read that in your review. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think speaking on the light novels point of view, I think it's a good way to start to kick off to introduce Violet and her job. For the anime, I do enjoy the play that he about to write. I do
Right.
enjoy his problems, his issues with his daughter. I do feel like the guy, I think his name is Oscar. Oscar wife and Oscar daughter all being bedridden and died before him was too on the nose. But apart from that, the process of writing a children's story, and Violet actively become involved to that process. She not just merely transcribing, but she also like ask how it happened, and she related to the story as well. I think all that really speak to like the main themes of Violet Evergarden. So overall, I really enjoyed that episodes.
Yeah, it's definitely true that Violet wasn't just transcribing; that she was very active in this episode. She was very interested in the play that he was, composing.
Mm-hmm,
She was. I think this was her Violet at her most human so far, because as he's just telling her what the play is going to be about and what the next scene is going to be, she is like on the edge of her seat, asking him
Mhm.
questions about, oh well, how's the main character going to get out of this situation? How are they going to cross this river, or
Yep.
what's the next story beat going to be? She's
Yeah.
like
Go-
very
go back.
into it.
Go back to her house. Go back to her house with father waiting for her.
Right. Yeah. How's she going to
That's
get back
the
to her father?
narrativity. Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
And in addition to the fact that she was so invested in another person's work, she also cried when he told her about the way that his daughter had died. I don't know if
Oh,
if
right.
we've seen that from her before, and if she has cried before,
Nah.
I don't think it was like this, like where she was very clearly moved and sympathetic.
Yep.
If we'd seen her cry before this, it was probably one of those anime scenes where it's like, oh, why am I crying? What
That's
am
right.
I actually crying?
Yeah. You.
Those types of scenes are probably about as common as beach episodes.
Mm-hmm.
But I liked how human she was, and even beyond what I've said so far, like on her way back, like when she's returning
Mm-hmm.
from her trip, she remembers when Claudia says to her like, "You're burning."
Yeah. Yeah.
You remember that? She reflects
Yeah.
back on that, and she remembers, or she realizes, oh yes, I am. I know what he was talking about now, and she
Yeah.
feels guilt about the fact that she acted as a weapon in war.
Mm-hmm.
So when you think about episode eight's placement after this one, because episode
Mm-hmm.
seven's the one where she feels guilt about having been used as a weapon and having taken lives. So when you
Mm-hmm.
see her actually doing that in episode eight, in that way, it makes sense for the show to lay itself out this way.
Mm-hmm.
Now I do agree that episode eight wasn't anything special, but that just occurred to me that in the episode after she feels guilty and remembers like the guy criticizing her for taking out so many of his men at the end of
Mm-hmm.
episode 5 or something. Then in the
Yep.
very next episode we see her like killing people.
Yeah, right. It doesn't change the fact that it was unnecessary for me.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying. And yeah, I agree that it wasn't particularly informative. But that thought just entered my head that the episodes were lined up that way. Yeah, I liked
Yeah.
episode 7 better as well.
Mm.
So
Is
how did
there
you
any-
feel about the big scene? The one where she's like, running across the water. Because that seems
Oh,
to have
right.
been like the big scene in episode 7. How did you feel about it?
That was I just that was magical for me.
Hmm.
It was very very nice.
Anything else
Uh,
to say about it?
Well, just to compare that big scene from episode 7 to the big scene in episode 8, where Chibert gets shot in the eyes.
Okay, yeah.
It was so bad. It was so terrible. It just because the moment that he say he find the words, whatever it is, I immediately know that he will be get shot, and then they show that he gets shot in the eyes very clearly, very like it's just too obvious. Right, this show is very obvious in what they're about to say, that sometimes it just seem too much to me.
Yeah, I think that might be because it's dealing with a character who doesn't process emotions the same way that we do, and so
Mhm.
there are times when it needs to be like totally blatant in order for
Yeah.
things to get through to Violet.
Yeah,
So
and
that just might that might
yeah,
be the reason why.
yeah, everything have to be grand, and everything have to be big.
Yeah, episode 7 was very big.
Yeah.
The fact that his wife died, and then did you notice that his daughter was wearing like a skull cap, the same way that chemotherapy patients?
Yeah.
Where-
I
there's-
noticed that.
Does cancer exist in the Violet Evergarden universe? And does chemotherapy exist? That doesn't make any sense.
No, I think she's just losing her hair, maybe.
I guess, but the fact that it looked like the fact that she had lost a little bit of like muscle mass, and
Yep.
she was looking a little more gaunt, like a little more thin, and the fact that she was wearing that particular cap, that just reminded me very clearly of a chemo patient.
Yep.
And that I was like, this is not period appropriate.
You have a point there, man.
I did, I was still, I liked episode 7. Most of what I liked about it was Violet centric, not about the playwright. But I did like it better than episode 8.
All right, so we go into episode 8, so 8 episode of Violet Evergarden, and I have to say that I don't enjoy the cast of Violet Evergarden.
You don't enjoy the
In the-
cast.
The cast, yeah. So in a way that I feel like the recurrent characters haven't been in the spotlight very much.
Yeah, when are we gonna get a Catalia episode?
Yeah, right.
I just want to know like what her deal is. She's
I
so
think-
popular, everybody loves her. I mean, obviously she's very attractive, but
Yep.
I want to know about her as an individual, not just how she looks and how that would obviously be enticing to people.
Yeah, I think in the latter half of Violet Evergarden we will have like an episode entirely for her,
Yeah,
about her.
I expect that as well. And if we don't get it, then it's like, well, why was she, why was she in the show? Why was she
Yeah.
so important? Yeah, show's okay. Violet Evergarden is, for me, it's okay.
Yeah.
I'm fine with watching it every week. You know, it's at this point it's past Kokoku for me in terms of enjoyment. Although
Well,
it wasn't like that always.
yeah, I don't really enjoy Violet Evergarden, to be honest.
Hmm. That's a shame
Just
since you're writing about it every week.
that's right. Maybe I can swap it off with Lenlo. I don't know if he watched the show.
Lenlo seems to be pretty like anti-piracy,
Yeah.
and it's not available in the United
Yep.
States on Netflix yet.
Oh,
So
yeah. That's right. Yep.
I don't know.
All
I don't
right.
know if he'll go for that. And
um,
I'm definitely not going for it.
I'm I'm pretty sure that Aiden will not watch this.
Yeah, he doesn't. He seems to be like anti KyoAni,
Yeah.
which is fine. You know, people can like what they like.
Nah, but you know like he just put up his top 10.
He
Uh,
did.
no a while ago in the chat box.
Oh, what was
And
it?
yeah, and one of the top it was like two weeks ago, I think, when everyone putting the old top 10
I mean,
anime.
I put mine.
Yeah, and then
And,
he put his up to yours, I think.
oh, really? Okay. What was it? I mean, can
And
you
one
name a few series?
I don't remember much, but one of the show was Haruhi, the
Okay.
melancholy of Haruhi. And
Sure.
yeah, so that killed Annie,
Yeah,
and
it is. It's a
I,
different.
I,
It's a
I
different KyoAni than current KyoAni, though.
oh really?
Yeah, I think so. I think that Haruhi was magical. Now,
That's
I actually don't.
that's how I
I
feel.
I don't particularly enjoy it. I think I respect it more than I like it. But the fact that Kyon was the narrator, and that
Uh-huh.
everything was told through his eyes,
Mhm.
and that there was like a big focus on like metaphysics and the idea that Haruhi was a godlike being, and the like the push and pull between, is she causing all this to happen, or is it all happening naturally? It was very different from current KyoAni fare, which is more about how everything looks.
Yeah.
It's more about like atmosphere. I feel like Haruhi was more about its characters
Well,
and
I
more
have
about its theme, like more thematic
right.
and more
I
fun.
have yeah, more fun as well. It's right. I have a feeling that Haruhi is about a club of a bunch of guys who doing nothing,
Yeah,
but they have a purpose. All the other skill and anime works later. They have like that same context. That same uh, about a club about a bunch of people who doing nothing, but they don't have the context of the Haruhi. So it's just like a shell that
yeah,
a
yeah,
copycat
yeah,
of
kind of.
Haruhi,
Like
but
let's
still
what are some
right.
KyoAni shows that are like that, about a club that does nothing? Is Tamako? I haven't seen Tamako Market. I've only seen the movie, but is Tamako Market kind of like just nothing?
Well, Hyoka.
Hyoka, I have to disagree about Hyoka being about nothing. That after you get a decent ways into it, it really, I think Hyoka comes into its own. I think it's weak at the start, but it improves as it goes along. It becomes more
Or
focused.
well, it is well. All right.
That's just my opinion on it. Like the idea that, you know how at the start he's like, oh, I'm an energy conservationist. I just don't want to expend any energy.
Mm-hmm.
That is like, that's very loose, and that's very just like do nothing. He's just going with the flow of whatever, you know, Chitanda's whims in the club.
Yep.
Then after a while, the idea that the show is all about mysteries is more based on I can't remember the main guy's name.
Nah, I
It's-
don't remember
it's-
his name either.
It's less about, oh, there's a new mystery, let's solve it, and it's more about his heightened interest in participating with other people.
Mm-hmm.
I
Alright,
feel
we
like
ha-
I feel like Hyoka is comparable to Haruhi, honestly.
Yeah, comparable.
Yeah.
I think Hyoka is like in my top five Q&A.
Yeah, it
But
would be for me too. I think.
yeah, but for me, just Haruhi is like the top. Like no one, no other show can beat it. You know,
Right.
so it's on another level for me.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Euphonium is actually my favorite KyoAni show.
Oh, yep. This one is
Um,
actually pretty good.
it's yeah, but I do recognize Haruhi as like the big one, and I think it earns that and deserves that title. Anyway, this isn't about winter anime.
Yep. All right.
We're getting way off
So
topic. I do want to check out that top 10 list, so I'm gonna try to find that. So after the rain now.
yeah, after the rain, let's go with after the rain.
All right, let's do it. I have no notes on episode 7.
All right. So I gonna just tell you about what episode 7 was about.
Do
We
it.
have like two main events from episode 7. First was uh first was Kondo for the first time snap at Tachibana about before, because she was just like craving about him, like tell him like on the good stuff about him, but he
Yes,
feel
okay,
that
I remember. Yeah,
he doesn't deserve that.
right.
And
Yeah, she's like worshiping him, and he's like, stop. I'm just a middle-aged restaurant manager.
yeah, right. So do you know nothing about me? That what he said.
Yes, that's right. And she
And
becomes very upset, and she wanders into his
mhm,
apartment,
yep,
soaking wet, and just
yep,
like puts her head down on the table.
confusing.
Confusing,
And
huh? I don't know.
yes,
I
she
feel
was
like
confused.
I don't know, man. I feel like she may have been trying to get some. Now
And
we had a little bit of a back and forth in the comments section underneath your review. So you don't want them to get together, is that right?
and I do want them to get together, but I don't want them to go all the way on that on that particular moment.
I did.
All right.
I mean, I like obviously the age gap is 28 years. That's huge, and there shouldn't be in like I don't know outside of arranged marriages where both participants are totally willing and it's going to benefit both of their families in certain cultures. I don't think that should be going on. But in the context of this show, I want it to commit to like a sexual relationship and see what the fallout is and how the characters respond to it and how it changes their lives. So
All right.
I'm interested in that.
All right. So 2 point. First, I think there was more than 20 years old indifferent. So Tachibana was 18 years old, 17 years old,
17. He's
and
45.
45. So it's more like 20,
It's 28
25,
years.
28. Yep,
Yeah.
about 30 years. And second, I think if they're gonna go all the way, if they're gonna have sex at that particular point stage, I don't think I don't think it's a appropriate stage for them to, commit any more seriously than
I mean, it's
what
not
they have been
appropriate.
for now.
Of course, it's not appropriate. He's way too
It,
old for her.
nah, it's not in that context. It's more like they not really they consider themselves as a friends right now. Like
Oh, but that was
it's
such
more. Yep.
bullcrap when he pushes her away afterwards, and he's like, "Oh no, we were
Yeah,
just
yeah.
friends." I mean, and
That.
as the viewer that that's bullcrap because you can feel the heat between them.
Yep.
I just want the show to make use of that heat and to like get dirty.
All
I don't want
right.
to see any nudity or anything like that, but I do want the show to make good on the chemistry between the two characters. That's just what I'm interested in.
All right. I think the main issues between the two characters right now in their relationship right now is that Tachibana and Kondo expect different kind of relationship out of that. You know what I mean? So,
Kind of. Yeah, because Tachibana is like totally enthralled with him, and
yeah.
even though she's clearly sexually attracted to him, she probably wants she just wants him to be like everything to her.
Yeah.
Whereas Kondo, he can't want that kind of relationship. He's too old. He's like experienced too much. So
Yeah.
I mean, he's probably filled with guilt about not, you know,
And
even though they haven't had sex, he's probably guilt ridden about what they have done.
well, and I think it's a more. I think we get a bit of insight of him in the episode 8 when he's talking about a guy his age doesn't want to change, doesn't want to make any anything drastic.
Hmm. I actually
Uh,
just watched episode 8 and I can't remember what scene that was.
oh yeah. So it was from when he discussing about the poem, Rashomon.
I think that's a novel.
Oh, is that a novel?
Yeah.
All right. So that was a novel. So he was discussing about that novel Rashomon, and when Tachibana asked him about what if he was in this guy what he about to do, and he just told her that uh like
He
with,
would wait. He would like wait out the rain.
yeah, because he come to this stage of his life, 45 years old now. He don't want to do anything. He don't want to change.
Right.
So he will just wait. I think that's the basic of it.
All right. I'm okay. Rashomon is not a novel, but it is a short story.
All right.
Um, so it is a little more than a poem, but not a full-fledged, book.
Mm.
The reason I know anything about Rashomon is because there's a film called Rashomon.
Yeah, that's
It's
right.
it's the
I know
it's
that
the one
visual.
about it's the one about like the three different like it begins a scene and then it shows three different possibilities of the way the scene could go based on the actions that people take.
Have you watched that movie though?
I haven't, no, but I
All
I
right.
know I know about it. And
I have.
I think it's fitting, right? Because the idea is the question that's posed from Tachibana to the manager is, what would you do? And the
Mhm.
idea of the film Rashomon, I think, although I haven't seen it, is how do people's actions affect the future?
Mhm.
So
All
how
right.
do you think the film relates at all to what was going on in this episode?
All right. Just for the information, the film Rashomon and the novel Rashomon isn't the same thing. So the film Rashomon take taking place and the take the setting of the novels, but like the event turned out to be like completely different.
Okay.
All right, so I do get what you mean by like different opinions come
Or
from the
different outcomes
different outcomes.
come
Yeah.
from people's actions. Like the choices you make will change the future.
Mm.
And it's the same thing about her asking the manager, like, what would you do in this situation? Obviously, there's going to be a different outcome depending on whether he would go out from beneath the awning and into the rain, or not. Whether he would become the thief to continue
All
to
right,
live or not.
because I don't get that the story at all. So could you, if you know the story, could you just tell me what the
Okay.
story of Rashomon is about?
I don't know the story, but I do think I understand the reason for Rashomon being brought up in this episode. I think the idea, like
Yep.
the story is that the thief sees the woman
Mm-hmm.
who's cutting off people's hair and plans to sell it as as wigs. She's
Mm-hmm.
doing that so that she can make a living because times are tough, like economically. So she's cutting
Yep.
off people's hair so that she can survive. So the thief
Mhm.
sees this and considers turning her in,
Yep.
or rather, the servant sees this and considers turning her in, but instead he is inspired by her actions, and he becomes a thief in order to live himself.
All right.
So he makes a decision that he's going to break the law. He's going to like break bad. He's going to do it so that he can stay alive. He can live for himself. So I think the idea when Akira asks the manager, "What would you do?" there is an indirect question there about from her to him. Is this thing going to happen? Like, are you going to do this? Are you going to do something that is wrong, you know,
Mm-hmm.
in order to in order to satisfy, in order to like live, quote unquote live, in order to satisfy the need that you have for, you know, like togetherness, companionship.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
I think there's a parallel between the servant who becomes a thief and the
Mm-hmm.
restaurant manager who may become the lover of a girl 28 years his junior.
Yep. 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 I
That's what I got out of it.
Yeah, I get what you mean. I think it makes sense.
I also thought that you know how it was brought up that the Rashomon author is constantly changing the last sentence of he
Yep.
constantly changed the last sentence of his novel.
Mm-hmm.
I think that represents the tipping point that Kondo is on. Like he's on the edge. Is he gonna you know give in to his
Yep.
desire
Mm-hmm.
or not?
Mm. Right.
And
And
I honestly
what
after
did she say
go ahead.
on?
Go ahead.
Yeah, and what did she say on the on her answer sheet?
Right. Her answer is I think that whatever the servant decides, I hope that it works out for him. Like I hope it benefits him and improves his life.
All right.
And also, I would
Hmm.
like to read a sequel. So Tachibana, I think, indirectly is expressing that whatever decision the manager makes, whether he chooses to be with her or not, she wishes for his happiness and for his life to, you know, improve.
All right.
So I think that
I
as
didn't catch any of that at all.
oh yeah, I'm interested in their relationship, so I'm looking for stuff like that. And as a result of
Mhm.
this episode, I think that they're not going to get together. I'm pretty sure the idea is that Tachibana is going to put his happiness before her own, um, you know,
Desire.
yeah, her own desire, her own wish to be with Kondo. And I think he's going to do the same thing.
Mm.
He's going to stay underneath the awning and not get wet, as he says.
All right.
Which
And
I think that's a damn shame.
well, all right. So what your take about the pimple?
The pimple? Oh, I
Yeah.
think that's just I don't know. I didn't think much of that, honestly. It
Well,
probably represents like anxiety, right? And then
youthfulness, I think.
what?
Youthfulness.
Youthfulness. Oh yeah, it's
Yep.
true that he says I'm just an old man who can't get pimples anymore, and then you see him with the
Getting a
pimple
pimple. Yeah.
at the end. Yeah. But that's interesting. The idea that he would get the pimple and that would indicate that he is young. Wouldn't that be a point in favor of him actually being in
I
a relationship with a younger woman?
Yeah, I do think that as well. So I think that he getting he feel himself being young, and then it just technically he having a pimple in his face. Like technically he became younger.
Right.
So I think it's more of a sign that they might gonna be together.
I really don't think so. Although I hadn't considered that the pimple had. I mean, I obviously everything in the show is, it all works together. Like it's orchestrated to deliver a certain feeling and a certain message each time. So the pimple obviously has more significance than it's just a blemish. But I didn't catch that.
All right. So and what is your take on the earlier scenes of episode 8? So
Um,
that was about friends, Tachibana friends,
right,
and
Haruka,
Haruka.
the dark
Yep.
skinned girl from the track team, and
Yep.
her the thing, you know, the ex
Yep.
captain of the soccer team.
That's right. How do
Yeah.
you feel about those?
Um, I'm interested in I'm a little more interested in Haruka than I was when we saw her in episode 6 when she gobbled up half the episode.
Mm-hmm.
This time, like I don't know if she likes the soccer captain or not. I think I'm still on board with the idea that she is attracted to Tachibana. Um,
Well,
but
yeah.
go ahead.
Well, at first I thought that the show introduced the ex-captain guy to be a rival of Tachibana and Kondo, but after he and Haruka talking to each other, I think it's more about like telling Haruka about how Tachibana feel about the injuries,
Right.
about Tachibana old passions of running, so that still remain in her.
Right. He's
And
he's encouraging her.
yeah, that is exactly the point.
So I think that maybe the soccer captain guy likes Haruka, but Haruka likes Akira. She likes Tachibana.
All right.
I mean, that theory is going to be put to the test very quickly because the end of episode 8 is the two of them together at the festival.
Yeah. I don't think they're gonna be anything more than that though. Mo-
I mean,
I think
I doubt
I-
they're going to get together. I don't think there's going to be a romantic ending to this show.
No, I mean that it's complete. I feel complete. The only Haruka acts, like her first feeling that her friend getting away from her. Now she's getting a bit more about her perspective, and finally that like they become friends like normal. I think that's her act is complete now.
Oh, I don't agree. I mean, I do agree that it makes a pretty nice arc what's happened so far, but
Mm-hmm.
showing that at the very end of this episode they were going to the Did you notice how many times the camera focused on the summer festival flyer
Yeah,
in
yeah,
this
right.
episode? I think the festival's way more significant than that.
Oh, so that's what we're gonna have next week.
I'm pretty sure because I mean, if you measured out how much time was spent with just the camera sticking on that that cute little
Posters.
poster, it was like a
Yeah.
minute of the episode was dedicated just to shots of that poster.
Right. And they're supposed to meet Kondo as well. I think Kondo will be in the festival as well.
Oh, there of course. I mean, unless the show wants to do another dedicate another half of an episode to just Haruka,
Yep.
I think Kondo's going to show up pretty fast. And I'm actually predicting that Akira is going to get, or rather Haruka is going to get jealous, because Akira is going to see. I never know whether to refer to her as Akira or Tachibana. The main character is going to see Kondo and be like, "Oh my God, it's the manager," and Haruka is going to be jealous of that.
Yeah, right. Let's see. I don't really like if it's gonna happen. I don't really like it, but let's see how the show handle it.
Yeah,
Ano-
I did like
Yep.
both of these episodes.
Another point is I don't like the way that the authors, one of the Hichiko Chichikuro, one of the author that
From episode 6 on the book.
yeah, that's right. That was completely forgotten. So I want to know more about that, but the show seem to just forget about that plot thread.
Yeah, that's true. I think it'll come back. Did he mention anything in this episode 8, about having a friend who was successful and then
That
No.
was episode 7. No,
that was
was
episode 7?
yeah.
Okay. Well, in that respect, the name was introduced, was shown in the book in episode 6, and then there was some dialogue about it in episode 7.
Yeah.
So we got nothing in 8, but
Yeah.
I mean,
nothing late.
think about the fact that we got half of episode 6 dedicated to Haruka, and then she was pretty much absent from episode 7, and then she comes back in a fairly big way in episode 8, and I mean, I'm predicting that there'll be even more of her down the line. So I think the show will pick back up on, I mean, because whoever that person is, they're they're closely tied to Kondo and his desired career.
Yeah.
I think
All
they'll
right.
come back.
So far, After the Rain still my favorite show of this season.
Oh, by a long shot.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, honestly, it's saving the season for me.
Yeah. Well, now looking back, like we're halfway through the season already. Now looking back, except from After the Rain, I don't really have a strong feeling to any of the other shows.
I mean,
So this is
I do for one other, but you already know what it is.
which one was that?
Pop Team Epic.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Is that still good?
I really enjoy it. I view it as like a punk art uh, uh, I don't know what third word would complete that phrase, but I view it as having like a very punk spirit,
You know,
which I like. It's
and
raising a middle finger at like the anime industry.
yeah. Oh, I actually enjoy the second season of Psyche, the Destroyer's Life of Psyche K.
Right.
The one,
I actually stopped watching.
yeah, it's still very
Yeah.
nice. It's still very funny.
I watched 3 episodes and I don't know.
It
I got
doesn't
a
do
little
much to
tired
you,
of it. Yeah.
right?
I'm
And
and I'm sad to say that because I did enjoy. I mean, I think I mentioned before that my enjoyment of the first episode kind of went, the first season kind of went down as it went along.
yeah, yeah.
But I do. I mean, I would recommend Psyche to fans of anime comedy. So It's too bad that I haven't been liking it. I don't know whether that's because it's not as good or whether it's just something that's different about me.
Mm.
You know, because it is more of the same.
Yeah, yeah. It's always like that. You know, like if
Yeah.
you like this, if you like one of the story, you're about to be like everything else. But don't expect more than that.
Yeah, maybe that's my problem. It's a problem with expectations. That's definitely possible.
Yeah, and I drop Hakata Tonkotsu ramens.
I'm still doing that because I'm talking about it with my brother.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's not great. You don't need to feel guilty about dropping it.
yeah. Well, I'm at episode 6, and then I don't learn anything about the characters. I feel that the characters are empty, as well.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
How about a place further than the universe? What do you think about that so far? Yeah.
Um, it's 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 I don't know. It's pretty good. It's pretty good, but I don't think I'm gonna
All
remember
right.
it. I don't think I'm gonna remember it in a year.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
alright.
I think they taking too long to get into
Yes.
Antarctica.
Yeah, that's
They,
pretty much the problem.
that they taking too long on the ship.
Do you think they're counting on a sequel?
Nah, I don't think so. No, no, no.
So
But
then
they
it's
did.
just like the journey is
Yeah.
the journey is the destination or whatever that phrase is.
So yeah.
Man, that sucks.
So I think we just have like three more episodes. I think
Yeah.
for them actually in Antarctica.
Right.
All right.
I'm not caught up on that show, but I've only seen 7 of the 12 episodes.
All
But
right.
even having seen, I would expect them to be in Antarctica by the halfway point, and they're not, and
Oh,
that's lame.
yeah. We're episode 9 now, and then they're just getting into Antarctica.
Okay, so they do actually get to Antarctica. That's a relief. Because everyone like in the show, everyone's freaking out about is this actually going to happen? Is this
Yeah.
expedition actually going to, are we going to leave port? So, knowing that they do, that's good.
All right.
Yeah, this season's not the strongest.
Well, what? Oh, I actually have like 3 shows that I want to plot for the next season. Gonna tell you about that later.
Yeah, after. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. And one of the episodes we'll probably do for this podcast is like a big, like our own preview for,
Yep.
or maybe not a preview, but like a first impressions type of thing about
Right.
spring.
Yep.
But that'll
I will
be
do that.
later.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, how about Ergo Proxy? We watched 6 whole
Oh.
episodes. It was long as hell.
Well. All right. So first, what your take on all the 6 episodes so far?
Mixed bag. I would is how I would summarize my
Right.
reaction. Some of the
All right.
standalone episodes entertaining.
Mhm.
Some
Yep.
of the more story focused bits entertaining,
Yep.
but also some lulls, some sleepy moments for me in here.
All right. Tell me what lows.
Oh God, I watched 6 episodes. I do have notes on all of them. Lulls. Let's see. The supermarket episode.
All
Was
right.
not
The
a
first
fan.
one. The second one. Yep.
Right, episode 14, the supermarket. That episode reminded me of The Clash, the band.
Yeah. The Clash. Yeah.
Yeah, it reminded me of their song "Lost in the Supermarket."
Oh.
That song was running through my
Right.
head the whole time I was watching the episode. its use of repetition. I don't
Yep.
think was good enough.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't achieve like you know an Utena or a Penguin Drum level of artistry
Repetition.
or necessity.
Yeah.
I mean, it was repetitive, like like those shows, but it was a little sticky. The idea that the proxy is a shapeshifter,
Yep.
and it repeats like the motion of what's his face Vincent coming out of the water like 3 times, and there's so much
Mm-hmm.
confusion as to what's real and what's not that in the
Mm-hmm.
end it completely obscures any greater meaning that it could have had.
Yep.
So not a fan of that episode at all. Other sleepy moments. Um, I actually did not like episode 17, which was the one that was focused on Raul,
I
where
don't
you
like that episode either.
where you learn that he's like still in cahoots with Daedalus,
Yep.
and that he's on the run. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't make
Mm-hmm.
any sense to me that the leaders of Ramdo, that council of statues, that they would just let him go.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand that one bit. Um, so not a fan of that. And
Anything.
uh, I'd say I was more of a fan of the other 4 episodes.
Sorry, you were a fan of.
Yeah, I think I was a fan of the other 4.
All right. For me though, I don't like the last 3 episodes when it become more story focused.
The last 3, okay. So that would
Expect-
include the one where it shows Riel's everyday life, where the wind has stopped and they're like
Nah,
in
nah,
one
nah.
place.
I
That-
that was my favorite episodes.
Well, that was one of the most recent 3 that we watched. That was 16.
Oh really? So
Yeah.
I don't like the one with Raul.
Right, that was
the,
17.
The
and
one
then
where. Alright, so I don't like the one with Raul. That was the worst one, and the one when they were getting into the mosque.
right, that was 18.
alright. It's not that good. Yeah.
Okay.
So 17 and 18.
Yeah.
I
So we
I like
both
only
don't like
step-
episode
I-
17, but you didn't
Mhm.
like 18.
Mhm.
Why is that?
It just when it become more like plot heavy.
Yeah.
It just lost some of the craziness for me.
Okay.
It
So you're-
doesn't
you're liking the
really
standalone
like
stuff.
coming up altogether. Yeah, so I actually enjoyed only standalone episodes.
Did you like
Like,
the supermarket one?
Yeah, I like it. I don't love it, but I enjoy it. I do enjoy it.
Okay.
It have like more of the psychological thriller aspect of it, and
Eh.
I always a fan of psychological thrillers. So
It did. But I feel like the repeated footage was it kind of lost any potential for me
Yeah.
to be like on the edge of my seat when it did
Right.
that.
it blurred the line between dream and reality, which is one of my favorite theme. I
Yeah,
always
that-
enjoy Satoshi Kon movies, so that was always my favorites.
Right. That did occur to me as I was watching that episode. Like, we're supposed to wonder what's real and what's not.
That's
But then
right.
by the end, I just didn't care.
Yeah,
That
but
was
but
just
then
me though.
but then I think it's not great enough to like pack on the thing they're trying to say by the end. So it turned out to be alright for me. Not the best, but I can live with that.
So
I
let's
can still
talk.
enjoy it.
Right.
Yep.
Let's talk about the game show episode.
All
What are your
right, the
thoughts?
game show. Wow. It's just completely different. I just I just didn't expect any of it at all.
Yeah.
The-
I mean,
the-
I mean,
the-
I did because I had heard from somebody that it was, that way. But it still
makes
managed to
sense. It
surprise
doesn't
me.
make sense to me.
No,
Yeah.
it doesn't. It doesn't make any sense. But I liked it.
I like the fact that like in later episodes we got introduced to more proxies, but they just ignore them altogether. They just doesn't care to to develop them as a characters. So we have the proxy in the supermarket, the proxy at the house, but it's just like the very bare idea of their proxies. That's it.
Right.
And I think it worked for better. I don't like the two proxy that we saw in the beginning. Remember what they
Oh,
are?
you mean Monad and Vincent?
No, sorry. Senec, is that
Oh yes, I know
Yes.
what you're talking about. When they're in that,
yeah,
they're in the military base, kind of.
yeah. So the two of them, because they kinda develop it too much.
Yeah, those episodes made me fall asleep.
Yeah. So I like that idea that there was some mob proxy, but we don't get to know them that much. But they still serve a purpose. They still make but us feel different.
Right.
And I
they're-
like
Go
so,
ahead.
yep. And I like the fact that like the first four episodes that we have, the one with Iggy, supermarket, the hot show, and then the episode after that, there was like completely different in terms of genre and
Yes.
and pacing, and it produced different atmospheres, and I really like it.
Yeah, it felt very much like the typical anime like road show.
Mm-hmm.
Where every episode's different, and you're gonna get a focus. You're gonna get a different like delivery style, because
Mhm,
the
mhm.
episode 16, for example, is narrated by Real,
Yeah,
and it's about like a day in the life. You know,
it's like doing nothing, just observing, and I love every second of it.
yeah, I liked episode 16 as well.
Wow.
Um,
All right,
although
let's talk.
it didn't make me like Real very much.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I like the fact that she's the one who always serious. She's the one who always uh down to earth, and now because of
Oh.
the situation where she live it, where she have to experience, she have to observe some of the most like pointless things.
See,
I really love the idea.
yeah, I like the idea too. I like the episode. But I disagree that she's down to earth. I think she's like a spoiled princess.
She is
Remember
the
how
spoiled
she's
princess. Yes,
she's
she.
like how much when Iggy first leaves, or I guess he's killed. He
Yeah.
sacrifices himself in
Mhm.
episode 13. Um, she's like, how am I supposed to live without Iggy if no one can do my hair? And then she
Mhm.
argues with Vincent about like how long she can be in the shower, and she's not grateful for the food because it's the same thing every time. And she hates the fact that he leaves the toilet seat up. Like that,
Yep.
it's shown to be like a very kind of domestic situation, and they're squabbling a lot.
Mhm.
And I didn't, because Riel was the person who was narrating all of that, and we got to see, the fact that her little obsessions, that didn't really endear her to me.
All right.
Um, although
I-
by the
I-
end she was,
Yeah.
she came around.
Yeah, I just like every moment of it, man. All right, let's talk about the talk shows.
Yeah, let's do that. So
Oh,
I
the
like
game
that
show.
episode. It might actually be my favorite of the 6.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I can see why.
let's talk about its. I mean, obviously the entire thing was a game show
Yep.
from start to finish, right?
Mhm.
I don't remember if there was even 1 second of a shot of them on the ship or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened? How did they get? Was the game show just completely divorced from the timeline of the series? And it's just like that would be like a filler episode? Just kind of a joke?
Nah,
Or do you think that they went to some place like some dome, some society, and that actually happened?
All right. First, I think that actually happened, and I think it fit to the timeline, as we see, because you remember they being broadcast, and roll.
That's right.
He got the signal, so he watched them live,
Right.
and then that was one of the reasons why he behaved the way he behaved. So it the fit to the timelines. How they come to into possession of that show, I have absolutely no idea. I think they just been trapped. just being trapped by the guide.
Yeah, but how? I mean, let's say they're on their ship and they're floating over the icy wasteland because the wind is picked back up.
Yeah.
Or it hasn't stopped at this point because it stops in the next episode. So they're floating along. How is it that they end up in a television studio?
I have absolutely no idea.
Yeah,
I think they just come to one of the city, and that city is hosted by that guide,
Right.
and then he just kind of trap them and make them become the contestants. I think
Contestants.
that
Yeah.
yeah. That's my take on that.
Do you think that the host was a proxy?
The whole is definitely a proxies.
Because
There
when
was
you see him die, isn't there like lightning in his eyes?
yeah. I think
Am I
there was.
completely making that up? I might be.
I'm pretty sure that guy is a proxies, and
Yeah.
I'm not really sure that was the same guy who they described in the guess the character. That's the proxy 001, I think.
Yeah. In my subs, it just said proxy one, like ONE,
Yep.
the word one. We might have different subtitles, but yeah, I remember proxy one, and he shows up later in episode 18.
Oh, is it? Oh, right.
Yeah, he's the one who enters the chamber of memories and talks to that mushroom head dude and
Yeah.
kills him. That's proxy one.
Mm.
I can't tell whether that's Vincent because
Yeah,
he's wearing
I
the
can't
exact
tell.
same outfit.
Yeah.
So that's the major question for me that episode 18 brings up.
Is this being the same person?
Yeah, like is there more than one proxy in Vincent, or maybe like does he have more than one personality, or is Ergo Proxy really two proxies, or something
Yeah.
like that?
Mm-hmm.
I do wonder about that. At first, I thought it was Vincent,
Yeah, at
Um,
first I thought so as well.
but he does have different hair, even though he has the same outfit, and even though he has the same facial structure. He also has a different personality.
Yeah.
And remember how like a necklace gets left on the body of the mushroom-headed
Mhm.
guy,
Yep.
and then Vincent pulls out his necklace, and you can see they're two separate objects.
Yeah.
So the question there is, did Proxy One leave his necklace there with the mushroom head? And if so, that proves that they're different. Or
Mhm.
is that a misdirect? And does the mushroom head own his own necklace?
I don't think the mushroom has his own necklace. I think that come from the proxy one.
Yeah, that's my theory as well. Is that he's separate? I think he might be a clone of Vincent.
Mm.
I think because we don't get to learn anything about Vincent's past because Raoul launches that thermonuclear bomb and destroys Mosk.
Mm-hmm.
But I think my theory is that Vincent, for whatever reason, had the necessary genetic makeup in order like to host life, like
Mhm.
another life inside his own body. So he was cloned, and they injected different proxies into each of his bodies.
And there was another proxy staying in Raun, is it?
Wait.
There was another proxy in the city, is it? So
In
now
what
they had
city?
in the main city, Romdale. Sorry, it's Romdale.
Oh, we learned in this episode that the reason Romdo has a proxy is because they steal Monad from Mosk.
Oh right. Yeah, right.
You see that little
Man,
shot
I
of
didn't
like
think-
armed soldiers coming into that room.
Yeah.
So
Right.
Romdo, their technology and the fact that they've been able to sustain themselves, is because they stole a proxy from Mosk.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean,
Right.
there are a lot of questions that episode 18 brings up, mostly revolving around Proxy 1. He now seems to be the main antagonist.
Yep.
Of course, the council of Romdo, they're also kind of antagonists.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's going back to episode 15, I guess, the game show. I
Yeah.
hadn't considered the fact that it must have happened because Raoul gets the broadcast in episode 17.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, even that doesn't necessarily mean that it really happened. That could be like um, the producers of the show kind of like winking at the audience.
Yeah, yep, I do get that feeling.
You do or you don't get that feeling.
I do, yes.
You do. I just thought it was, I thought it was funny. Like, it just made me laugh. That's pretty much the reason why I enjoyed it so much. It was just wild and experimental, and strange and nonsensical.
And I really like the fact that on the question they asked about what song is it, and it turned immediately to the OP of the show. I think that was pretty brilliant.
Yeah, it's like a cute little game that they're playing with us as viewers.
Yeah,
I I just thought it was hilarious that
it was
Riel and
like,
Pino were like in those little glass cases, and they were just trapped.
yeah,
And then they were brought down to participate in one of the rounds, and Riel just will not. She doesn't write anything down on her tablet to
Yeah.
guess who the pixelated image is. She just refuses to engage.
that was so funny. That was so nice. It was one hell of the episodes.
Yeah, I agree. But there was some useful information in that episode as well about the Boomerang project, that satellite that had been launched into,
Oh,
or the space
yeah.
station that had been constructed in orbit.
Yep.
I didn't totally understand its relevance, but I think the idea is that humanity was trying to escape Earth,
Mhm.
right? And so the people who remain on the surface, like the wasteland that Earth's surface has become, they only survived by going into domes. But it seems to me that humanity's actual survival plan was to go up into space because of what we
Mm.
learned about the Boomerang project.
Yeah, right.
So I wonder if that will come back into play, or if that's just like a bonus bit of information for us that the people who are still alive on Earth, they weren't intended to survive.
Yeah. Mm.
It was a lot of food for thought in surprisingly in a game show episode there was a lot of interesting little tidbits thrown in there.
Mhm.
Um.
All right. So, how you feel about that show so far?
I feel okay about it. I that's I feel I feel like it's a mixed bag, not just these 6 episodes, but the whole show.
Well, I do think that when they get to the final act, when they come all together, I just hope that they deliver it, because yeah, like I said, the last 2 episodes didn't do much to me.
Right. Yeah, that's definitely a concern because some of the show's best episodes have been the ones that stand alone.
Yeah.
Outside of these 6 episodes, even, do you remember the one where Riel is sent to that town where the machines all keep working even though there's no more humans?
Yep.
She's sent there, I think, by Daedalus after her recovery, after her return from the outside world. And I even though I don't think that episode was particularly strong, I really like that idea. That that there's a town where robots continue to perform needless functions, and then at the
Mhm.
end you see one of the robots like throw down its newspapers that it's delivering, and
Yeah.
it just says, you know what, I've had it.
Hmm.
I think that like little standalone series or stories or ideas like that in this show are some of the highest points. So I share your concern about maybe the big plot not coming together at the end. I hope that it does.
I hope it does.
Yeah. Okay, why did Raul launch the nuclear bomb?
Why did Raul?
Yeah. Why did he launch that nuke and destroy Mosque? Why did he do that?
Because he doesn't want Vincent to know about his origins.
Yeah, but why? Why does he keep having those hallucinations of Vincent? Why does he hate Vincent so much?
I think he's afraid that Vincent gonna replace him.
He's gonna. But hasn't he pretty much already renounced his position? Doesn't he
No,
not care about the opinion of the council
it,
anymore?
it yeah, I mean it's not by position of what he means right now, but like the whole bigger things. I think Vincent represent the proxy, the like the new Kai, the I think they did like more like a key to a new life.
Hmm.
I'm not really sure, but I
No,
think like Raul jealous of that.
I something that you just said made me think that like Vincent he represents the new. He represents like the new order.
Yeah, yeah,
And
right.
Raul is kind of clinging to the old way, the way it used to be.
Mm.
So
So
that
that's
the you saying that kind of made it fall into place for me.
mm, yep.
But he does seem very fixated on Vincent,
Yeah,
in a strange way. I did notice that Pino. You see that Pino was a companion autoreiv in Vincent's house, in Raul's house. That's where she learned to play the piano. You see a still image of him watching
oh
her while she's playing the
yeah,
piano.
yeah,
And then
right.
he sees then in his mind's eye he sees an image of Vincent with Pino next to him, and so it seems to him, I think, that Vincent stole Pino,
Mm.
so that might cause him to resent
Wow.
her or him.
Mm. Yep. All right.
Does he know that Vincent is a proxy? He does, right?
He does. He does. I
When
think
when
he
Go ahead.
uh, I think he does know everything about Vincent
Okay. And he's
because
cooperating with Daedalus now too.
yeah, yeah,
I
that's
thought they were
why I think
enemies.
because I think Daedalus knows that Vincent is a proxy.
Yeah.
So I think it goes that Raul know as well.
But what? Okay. So, but why is he cooperating with Daedalus? They were like at odds. In the last episode, the last time we saw them together,
Yeah.
Raul permits Daedalus to continue working with like the proxy cells and stuff.
Yep.
But he kind of threatens Daedalus and says like, "You're under my thumb. You're gonna report to me. I'm the boss."
Yep.
And then when he loses his power, why are they still cooperating?
I just remember like when he lose his power, he got like the new negotiation with the boat. So like they allow him to do whatever he like now.
Yeah, I still don't get that. I don't get why they let him do whatever he wants.
Yeah, that's right. And so and I think they plan involving the stolen proxies. I think they do mentioning about destroying.
They want to they want to destroy the proxy.
I think they do mentioning something about that. Yeah, destroy the proxies.
No, they need the proxy because the
Yeah,
proxy functions as like a power source for their
yeah. So
thing.
yeah, so that what they that I think that what they mean. Like they used to be rely too much on the proxy, so they want to destroy the proxies for for whatever reasons.
I don't think I have to disagree there. I don't think that's true because I think the proxies are a power source for the, you know how we've seen that
Yep. Yeah. Yep.
the artificial life uh, system.
The tube.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
see those not just in Romdo. We see them in other places too.
Mm-hmm,
We
mm-hmm.
see that there was one in Mosque. We even see one in like that frozen area, like in episode
Yeah.
13,
Right.
with plant life growing
Yep.
over it. We see them all over the place. So this was like obviously there was supposed to be a series of domes, and there were a series of domes all over the surface of the Earth,
Mm-hmm.
but a lot of them have been destroyed. And so Ramdo is desperately clinging on to their continued, safety and success. So they need the proxy alive in order to power that machine.
Well, so I think we will know that we know what his plan is about for the next few episodes. Now everything seems so fake to me. Everything seems so unclear to me.
Okay. Yeah. I mean I don't know if it's unclear. Everything is going to converge back in Ramdo. It looks like for the last few episodes because
Yeah.
our main trio, Vincent, Riel, Pino, they're all headed back to Ramdo. So I think everything is going to unfold there, and it's probably going to be Proxy One, who has regained his memories. He's going to try to destroy Ramdo probably because they have been carrying out their mission to steal other proxies. So Proxy One, you have to figure the one probably means he was the first, or something like that, or that he's the head.
Yep.
So he's probably going to try to get revenge, and then, everybody's going to have to stop him, I guess.
Mm-hmm. So they have like Proxy One and Echo Proxies. Is that?
Right. They're both.
Yeah.
They're probably separate. There's some question as to whether they're both inside of Vincent, but they're probably separate.
Yeah. Right.
I'm sticking with the Vincent is a clone theory. I think
Yeah.
there might be two Vincents.
Hmm.
One
Interesting.
of whom we've only ever seen as Proxy One
Yep.
in episode 18. We also saw Proxy One in episode 15, the game show.
The game show. Right. That's right.
So I think that might have been the writers like preparing us for the idea that this is the new main antagonist.
Yeah. That makes sense. That makes complete sense. All right.
That was long. It was a long talk.
Yeah. Well, so next time we're gonna finish all the episodes of Echo Process. I think
Yeah.
we will have 5 more. Not
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah, we'll do 5. We'll do 5 more. We'll do the next episode of all the the airing shows. We might just like forget about Kokoku. It doesn't sound like you're having any fun with it. I'm having less
Oh.
and less fun as we go on.
Well, it depends on the next episode that I will see on this week.
Right, episode 9.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we can use that episode as a guide
Mhm.
to see whether it's worth continued discussion.
And you, I hope you come up with a new title for our classic show.
Right. Yeah, I have tons of ideas. I'll
Right.
figure something out. All right, that's it for this week. Any final
Alright.
thoughts?
Not a good week for me in terms of anime. Okay.
For me, as long as Koi wa Amayagari has a good week, it's a good week. That's kind of how I feel. But yeah, there were some lackluster episodes for sure.
I start to drop some of other shows as well this season.
Dropping
So-
anime is like I'm an expert at that. So
Well-
I approve of the moves that you're making.
I tend not to drop shows more, but
Right.
well,
You gotta do
comes
what you
to
gotta
the
do.
yeah, it comes to the point that I don't have any passion to follow any of those episodes of
Exactly.
the shows.
Well put. Like if you're not passionate about a show, why keep watching it?
That's right.
That's how I feel anyway.
All right. So hopefully next week gonna be better, and
Yeah, we'll see.
and I hope that next week I will have more, like I will be more excited to write, to blog,
Yeah.
and talk about the shows.
Yeah. I mean that's partly on you, but it's partly on the shows themselves.
That's right.
So we'll see what happens next week.
All right. See you guys.
Bye bye.
Bye.